You can get addicted to anything, you know, whether it's porn or Big Macs or weed. You can get psychologically addicted to anything. But
Jamie, didn't the guy who created Alcoholics Anonymous, didn't he have positive experiences with LSD?
That'd be funny.
that would be
I feel like he did.
Acid's the only thing you're allowed to take, guys.
Well, I feel like that was something that happened, like maybe even after. Well, I don't want to speak out of school. Yeah? Am I right?
Yeah. I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So what the fuck?
Well, that's why the government needs
Alcohol-
to lift testing on a lot of things, so we know.
Scroll that up, please. Alcoholics Anonymous founder believed LSD could cure alcoholism. Wow.
Well, you're seeing so much research now in psychedelics that clinics are opening up. There's a clinic in LA for ketamine, you know, and
Wow.
you're seeing MDMA clinics opening up.
Look at this. What most of them do not realize is that the program's co-founder, Bill Wilson, credited the psychedelic drug LSD for alleviating his alcoholism and believed the drug could be used to treat others as well. Holy shit. So those friends of Bill, they didn't get all the information.
It's kind of like
You're
the mushrooms.
friends of Bill if you're in the Alcoholics Anonymous, right? That's what they call themselves? Like
Yeah.
friends of Bill, that's like the code?
Bill W.
But they didn't get that experience.
It's kind of like the mushrooms
Huh.
and quitting cigarettes.
Yeah.
But do you think they tell them?
I never heard this before today.
How could you not tell these people? Wilson first began experimenting with LSD in Los Angeles at the Veterans Administration back in 1956. But after taking his first hit of acid, he realized that it was not the aspect of terror that could help remedy alcoholism, but rather the insight one could attain from stepping into a world of simulated insanity. Whoa. Wilson believed that using the LSD could help the alcoholic discover a power greater than ourselves that, in turn, could restore us to sanity. However, he was adamant that using acid to combat the demons of alcoholism was not something that one could expect from a single dose. He's like, more research is required.
And snacks.
Wow. That's interesting, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, psychedelics, I think, as we experiment with them, like medically, are going to reveal some secrets
Okay,
to
but
our
this guy's a heavy duty tripper. As they're going further down, he was tripping with Aldous Huxley. Like this guy, this isn't like one experience he had. Interesting. There's documentation that indicates Wilson was involved with many supervised LSD trials, including some with psychologist Betty Eisner and Brave New World author Aldous Huxley, which led him to believe that the visions and insights given by LSD could create a large incentive, at least in a considerable number of people. Huh.
And
So this
Huxley
was-
was like a leader in psychedelics.
They left this out of the AA pamphlet.
How could they leave this out? That's crazy, because this seems like this had to play a major part in this guy's ability to kick alcohol.
Well, it seems like every major religion also left out the psychedelics that probably created them as well. So I think, you have... I think a lot of times you got to leave out the stuff that you think people aren't going to follow you for.
Wait a minute, you saying Alcoholics Anonymous is a religion?
Well,
Is that what you just said?
Cult.
You son of a bitch. I can't even believe you, Gino. I thought we were friends. That is really wild, man. That's really interesting stuff. But it totally makes sense that it could help you kick an addiction. That totally makes sense, because the stark contrast between being intoxicated on it and what it feels like to be normal, and this rethinking, like a reset button. That's what all the psychedelics provide that's like really beneficial. Besides being fun, they all provide that reset that takes you so far out of who you are right now that when you come back, you go, man, am I doing this the right way?
Right.
You know, now that I'm back to sober reality, do I need to refocus? Do I
The
need
disconnection from your own ego.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
You know, and you have the organization MAPS. You had the guy from MAPS on the podcast who's that does the psychedelic research. I forgot what.
Rick
MAPS
Doblin?
Yes. So just recently, they got authorized from the federal government to start doing research on cannabis for the first time. The federal ban was lifted, and it was because of MAPS that they were able to get that. They were the first ones granted that federal research on cannabis. So it's in very similar ways. We need to do research on LSD. We need to do research on psilocybin, because there could be medical effects that, just like cannabis, we're just denying because of years of, this is the way it was. They're bad. They're bad.
Jamie,
Right.
put that back up. That quote about Bill. This is crazy. Look at this. It says, unfortunately, LSD made its way into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous simply because others in the hierarchy did not support it as a viable treatment. In fact, a document published in 1984 by Alcoholics Anonymous World Services in New York explained that the reason the program does not endorse the use of LSD as word of Bill's activity, this is all in quotes, as word of Bill's activities reached the fellowship, there were inevitable repercussions. Most AAs were violently opposed to his experimenting with a mind-altering substance. LSD was then totally unfamiliar, poorly researched, and entirely experimental, ... and Bill was taking it, end quote.
Like boner pills.
They were scared. They were all scared that this
they
guy
were.
was tripping. That's hilarious. So they didn't want to include it, even though the founder of the program found it massively beneficial.
And it's almost ironic that if AA
He was
users
trying to put it in there, and they kicked him out, basically.
Really?
Yeah, that's what this
Where's
is
this
right
up here? Oh, yeah.
He's getting a
Look
lot
at
of
that.
resistance, so he had to step
He
down.
was chastised for his
Wow. That's hilarious. Isn't that crazy? Because Terrence McKenna attributed this quote to Timothy Leary, but Timothy Leary said he never said it. So nobody knows exactly who said it. But that LSD causes violent reactions to people who have never tried it.
what?
Well, that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
The people that haven't tried it are the ones that are
Oh,
freaking
right.
out.
I get it.
Not the
I
people
get it.
who were on it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think LSD, though, for real, can solve anything? I've done it maybe over 200 times, and
You might not
it's-
be the best example.
Wow.
Well, also, when you were taking it 200 times, a lot of that was recreational, not.
But I'm sure there was small little things that I was probably going through that I could have used LSD to help me. Like as an example, I took LSD once after a big breakup. Did it help me get through that breakup? No, it did nothing for my breakup. Or
Were you
in my
concentrating
feelings.
on it to try to use it that way, or that's the thing?
Yeah.
It's also gonna go with your own intention, probably.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't work for you. It's not like, hey, clean up my life. I'm gonna take some acid. Just
Right.
No, you got to do the work yourself.
I just don't
Like
see
it represents all these psychedelics, like the good experiences, the bad experiences, represent what's the state of mind when you go into them. That's why the people that take it like really seriously and they go through this all meditative ritual, and they'll do yoga and they'll do breathing exercises, and they'll set like a tone to whatever they would like to go into this experience with, and say that they're going into the experience open and humble, and say all these things out loud, and then they enter into the psychedelic trip. Like they do it that way because they want to set like an intention. If you just broke up with a girl and you take acid, you like really think acid's gonna fix anything because it didn't help me when I broke up with my girl. Like that's really what you're saying.
But you could also be like, hey, I want to quit smoking. Take acid, being like, what happened? Did you quit smoking? And I focused on cigarettes, and then the whole place melted, and then my hand turned into a bunch of snakes. So no, I still want cigarettes.
But again, it's not you don't really want to quit. If you wanted to quit, you would just quit.
Right. But I don't think the acid has anything to do with
It doesn't help you. It's not going to just decide for you. Like it depends on what's the intention that you go into taking any psychedelic, whether it's mushrooms or whatever. What's the intention that you go into this trip with? And you can't think like acid doesn't work because it didn't help me quit smoking. Like you didn't help you quit smoking. Like these are decisions that you make.
Yeah, I just don't see how acid, unless it's really bad acid, that you'll remember anything except melty stuff and like walls melting and lizards. I just don't see any kind of help.
On a lesser level, do you feel like cannabis has changed your personality? Because that is something you might not go into saying, all right, I broke up with someone, I'm going to smoke weed for it. But throughout your lifetime, has cannabis had an effect on you that you feel like it's changed your personality?
I've been smoking since I was like 14, 15, so I don't even know what my personality was before. If anything, I think marijuana made me more paranoid and scared. I was more like freaked out and stuff. But as a medicine for like headaches, and I don't take almost any pills now. I don't have Tylenol in my house anymore. If I have a headache, I use weed. So for that, it has helped me tremendously. But personality-wise, probably not. It probably made me more paranoid and awful as a person when smoking it, because I get panicky. If I'm super stoned in a room of people, it's not helping me at all. It's making it worse, if anything.
What about you, Joe? You started later. You didn't start as a teenager. So do you feel like it's made a difference on who you are?
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
a person?
Yeah, it changes your perspective. It offers you some a different frequency of insight, I would say. I think that one of the things it's done that's good is it makes me consider things that I might not be thinking about, and it gives you almost, it illuminates areas of your consciousness that maybe you weren't paying attention to.
It's made me a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of a type A high-strung guy, and like if there's an employee that I just want to strangle, I can take a hit of an OG and suddenly be like, you know what, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's had a hard day.
Exactly. Instead of accelerating that kind of behavior,
Right.
like shitty behavior, it definitely makes you more inclined towards fellowship and kindness. It's just it's a really good chemical. It's a really good reaction that your mind has to this natural plant.
For creative reasons, 100%.
Yeah.
It definitely opens up a different pathway in your head.
I like it for everything. I like it for a lot of different things. I like it, but for creative reasons, it's one of the best things.
Yeah.
Sure. A lot of our celebrity patients that are, working in comedy or music or television or the movies, they want sativas specifically. So they're not down at all because sativas are more known for their creativity and things like that. So we find people who are working in the creative field, they want to smoke sativas, which is an important distinction between indicas and sativas. A lot of people don't know that different types of marijuana can affect you differently, and there are some people who are medicating for certain ailments. Well, they should smoke something that specifically works for those ailments. If you're smoking because you're looking for creativity, because you're looking for you don't want to lay on the couch and go to sleep, then you should smoke sativas. If you are looking for that, it's nighttime, I want to relax, time to go to bed, you should smoke indicas because that's going to bring you down and give you that body high with the CBD chemical that's inside it.
Yep, that's what I want. I'm like Brian. I get jumpy with the sativa. I get a little bit freaked out, a little paranoid.
Why don't you pussies move in together?
Hey.
I think we're neighbors, actually.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, we've all been too high.
Yes.
Everybody's been too high. One of it was like a famous scientist. It wasn't Carl Sagan. It was some other famous scientist. It was one of those theoretical mathematician guys that writes all that crazy scribble shit. Mm-hmm. He would just talk about how he likes one hit. That's what he likes to take. Just one hit. Just go for a walk. All these ideas would come to him. It's like, you don't have to get fucking blasted. Mm-hmm. Just one hit.
That's why I was so against it at first, is because I thought one hit made you really fucked up. Because that's how I saw Gino. But it turned out Gino would say, you were such a dick to me when I smoked weed in your house that I have to go outside, smoke a whole joint in 2 minutes, and come in and I'd be a mess. So that was what I was exposed to, is I don't want any of that. I didn't realize you could just take one hit and just chill out and still work and still function. Nobody knows.
Yeah. And it makes people nicer. It definitely does.
It did for me.
Yeah.
I think, to say that, what are the medical effects? What are you treating yourself for? It's almost silly to say, because everyone else who's not really treating themselves for a cancer or something like that, they are getting mood regulation out of it. So even if you want to call it recreational smoking, you're still getting mood regulation out of it. And those people who smoke it almost daily or whatever, on whatever schedule they smoke it on, they might, if they didn't, they might be on Percocet. They might be on, Wellbutrin. They might be on a million other drugs. So to say that recreational use is people just getting high, that's also not accepting that people are looking for mood regulation as a medical effect. You
Yeah, and
gotta
we already
still call
have
that
it. We already have it with coffee.
Yeah. Coffee,
yeah.
nicotine,
Yeah.
booze. That's all. It's
There's
all
a lot of
medicinal.
those.
Yeah.
There's so many different things we already accept.
Sugar.
Yeah, well, sugar's the scariest one.
Yeah.
That shit's everywhere once you start paying attention to it. But the idea is that you should be able to do whatever you want. If you want to eat candy bars all day, that should be completely up to you. And that's not where we are, you know. And the fact that's not where we are with one of the most beneficial plants the world's ever known, because that's really what it is. Especially since its connection to hemp, it's the most beneficial plant the world's ever known,
Right.
and it's illegal. I mean, that doesn't show you how stupid people are. I mean, we're so goddamn goofy.
We are, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately,
You think?
because the laws are such a mess right now.
Listen, Hillary Clinton's going to fix everything
jeez.
when she gets in office.
She's going to be great.
She's
She's
gonna-
always been top shelf. It's gonna be fine.
Well, who? Donald Trump? Is he going to fix it?
I don't think he cares.
Does he care?
I don't. I know he doesn't care. I know that for a fact.
Do you think he would legalize marijuana nationwide? I get a lot of stoners
what's-
switch gears.
No. What scares me is, what if he makes Chris Christie the Attorney General? That would be bad.
It would be hilarious.
Oh, it'd be so bad for my business, dude. That would be bad.
It'd be hilarious. That guy's not going to be the Attorney General.
If he's not the Attorney General, I'll take anybody, whoever you got.
So
Well,
foolish.
you
He's
know-
so foolish. His opinions on marijuana while consuming copious amounts of sugar in public, they're so ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
He put a bag of M&Ms inside his M&Ms after he had stomach surgery. I mean, he's a crazy person. This guy's addicted to sugar, 100%.
Well, that's clear.
So no way you stay that big unless you're eating terrible. That's just it.
But he'll go with one thing is legal, one thing is not.
insane.
End of story.
He's an insane person.
But that's what we're fighting with the city.
But
This is the law. End of story.
Yeah.